I think probably the biggest one is this is an opportunity for a new perspective and a new relationship with lifting or physical culture. But we can still chase optimal when we have limited choices. And this is actually something that I grew to enjoy. But getting uncomfortable is the way that you expand the constraints within which you can operate. So I'm focusing on what can I improve versus lamenting those things that I can't.
So you spoke about how people can still progress even doing body weight exercises and things like that.
Most muscle groups could actually improve at a similar rate as if you had free weight exercises, if you're training at a sufficient proximity to failure, which some data would suggest. So for example, we've got Lasavikius et al. In 2018 showed that even at 40% of 1RM, you can make similar hypertrophy to 60 and 80% of 1RM, so long as you're actually doing sets to failure. Schoenfeld showed the same thing, comparing 8 to 12 RM to 25 to 35 RM training, I think in 2016. And then we've also got a study by, I want to say, Kikuchi and colleagues, where they compared push-ups to 40% 1RM on bench press, and also seeing similar outcomes in terms of hypertrophy. So we know that high reps work, and the muscles don't actually know whether you're holding the barbell or whether you're just upside down pushing up the earth. And I think that that's a solid rationale to say, all right, if I can get the nutritional access to sufficient protein and I'm eating enough calories, that could actually result in progress. There's going to be some muscle groups that are a challenge to hit. I used blood flow restriction bands. I had a hip circle. I think most people probably can't get 40 push-ups in a row. Many can, don't get me wrong. And you're probably listening going, yes, I can. I'm not saying you can't, person who's saying in your head you can. I'm saying that probably 3/4 of people listening to this podcast can't. So they don't even need to worry about that. I think we often think about, like the highest level bodybuilders, but that's not most people. But anyway, there's a lot of things you can do to make these more difficult. Have you ever tried elevating your feet, slight incline? That'll drop about 10% off. Have you ever tried elevating both hands? Get two solid books, put them against things so they don't slide out. Also, just because you've got 40 reps to do, don't treat them like, got to do 40 reps. Make each one intentional. But strict chin-ups more than 20 reps, that's rare,
Yeah.
And so I think the upper body is a relatively easy answer. The problem is often with the lower body movements, like sissy squats are a great option, but if you do have kind of janky knees, those probably are uncomfortable. Then another option is pistol squats, but pistol squats require a fair amount of mobility. What you can just do is pistol squats onto a box. You can elevate your heel, and you can control the range of motion there. And that becomes pretty difficult, especially if you do it in proper form. So that's going to be, a pretty effective stimulus for your quads and glutes. Nordic hamstring curls, those are great. That's an eccentric overload, so you will be sore the first couple times. So I think that right there, those two movements are covering, your glutes, your quads, your hams. Once you do those, you can also do like single leg glute bridges. And calves are very easy, single leg calf raises. I think most people, I think in the quote unquote evidence-based community, a lot of us, we try to find out the perfect answer before we actually get our hands dirty, because we want to have that safety blanket of I'm being quote unquote #science optimal, whatever. And this is just simply one of those times where that mentality will truly hold you back. See what's heavy, see if you got any old water bottles hanging around, and then just scratch your head and really just try a bunch of random shit for a couple days. I can do 30 Bulgarians and that's really tired. I got a backpack. I'm going to fill that backpack with a bunch of crap, put it on front ways to get the right, balance, because I've got long limbs. Actually, if we're forced to do the things that are true investments, this can end up paying off in the long run. So for example, I've been meditating daily. I've been reading books that I've been meaning to finish for ages. I have been taking walks with my wife. I've been cooking. Our overall diet quality has improved. This is a great opportunity to set up habits, to read some of the great literature out here, to better understand the systems for hypertrophy, strength development, athleticism, your career or whatever. so that once you're out of lockdown, you can be better and you can invest in the things that you'd always be like, stuff it, I'll put that off.